Jambo, and welcome to another session of the No Work session, where I have guests come here and we try to find out who they are and what they do when they are not working. Today's guest is a recent dear friend of mine, who by coincidence we found out we live in the same neighborhood. The very lovely JOAN THATIAH. Now, I don't even want you to tell us about yourself because you're already so popular. But I reached out to you a few months ago because I read your book by coincidence because I haven't read a lot of Kenyan authors, although I am an author myself. And then I saw this book on a book club. And I was curious because sometimes I find Nairobi men so complicated. So I wanted to hear their stories, So tell us about who you are.
So I was a print journalist for a decade. Now I'm a full-time author.
Mhm.
I'm also a publisher, and I just started a small bookshop. Yeah.
How do you transition from being journalist to being an author?
I think I was an author first, but inside.
I was gonna say that.
That's what I wanted to do. Although I went to school for law,
Okay.
but I wanted to be a lawyer so I could write about it.
Okay.
So I always knew. So media was, I would say, the lowest branch. Like it was the easiest way to get into my writing career.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I grew. And then I didn't have time. 5 years in, I did my first book, Things I Will Tell My Daughter, and I'm a publisher. So initially it was a one-woman show. I was doing everything.
Yeah.
You write the book, publish it, and sell it. So it was taking a lot of my time. So by the time there were 3-4 books, I no longer had time for my day job. So I was pushed out. Or I outgrew it. I don't know. I'm not sure which.
Because if you don't have time for something, you're bound to not deliver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's a story out there. It's half-baked. It has your name on it,
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So how has it been being? I know you've had a new book every year since
2016.
2016.
Yeah.
That is so interesting. What's the process? Like, how is that? That's a lot of dedication, and probably a lot of clarity on what you want to write about. Because people take even years and years and years to write one book. But for you to have a book and such interesting books every year, that's very commendable. So how is the process?
I think initially I came in not even understanding what I was getting into. I thought it was glamorous. I would go away, and be inspired and write these books. But
I think it says others want to go to the forest, in the cabin up in the woods.
Yes, that's what I thought the full-time job was.
Okay.
But when I did my first book, I realized that I'm always inspired, But then I wanted to do a book a year. That was a goal until I can't write anymore.
Why? Why that goal?
I don't know. I had I think, childish dream when I was younger to have a bookshop where that I sell just my books.
Okay.
Then you need a lot of titles.
You do.
to fill a bookshop.
For sure.
Yeah, so I want to, I feel like not everybody can write. So I have this gift and I want to use it.
Because you write so well.
Yeah, I want to use it.
You write very well, yeah.
As much as I can. So it's, for me now, it's no longer about inspiration. It's a project.
Okay.
Whether I want to write or I don't, I have a goal every day.
Yeah.
Every week, every month. Yeah. So
interesting. But do you always know what you want to write about? Like if you're doing a book every year, when do you get the aha moment of I'm going to write about this for the next 1 year?
Sometimes it's during, like I know what I want to do next already, and I'm just about to release book 10.
Okay.
So I think during I'll find something. Yeah, but I don't always see the whole way. So I'll know maybe I want to do a book about Nairobi men, but I don't know yet.
Yeah.
What are they, short stories? Is it a novel? Is it? Yeah. But I think before I'm done, then I know where I'm going.
Yeah. Interesting. Now I read this book and I highly recommend for everybody to read this book. I started reading this book, JOAN, before I went to bed. And the first story started okay, and I'm like, it's an interesting story. And then at the end of the story, my mouth dropped because I'm like, oh my goodness, what did I just read? So it was so gripping that I read quite fast. So I read the whole book before I could sleep. And I think probably the next day, if not the day after, I had to look for your number and send me all your books. So tell me how it was writing this book specifically. Like, how's the experience? How do you get to meet these people in these books? They're all true, right?
Yes.
How do you get to meet them? How do you get them so comfortable for them to be able to share their stories with you? Yeah.
So I began with a women series. But in 2020, I took a break from writing. Yeah. So I was not writing. And so I started talking to people. You know, journalists are nosy. So I've always been nosy. Okay. I would say I started asking more questions, or the questions that I didn't always speak out. You know, that you wonder about someone and you never ask. Yeah. I started asking asking questions to people, random people that I was meeting. But also a lot of the men are people I knew already. Okay. Because my job at Nation, when I was a print journalist, was writing features about men and women. So I'd met all these people, and you find that when you sit with someone for an interview, even if it's about their job, it's never really about their job. Off the record, they'll say something, true, you know, about themselves, about their spouse, about their life. Yeah. So I was interested. Like, can you tell me more? Can you tell me more? But
where do you think you got the curiosity from?
I think I just wanted to hear stories without the intention of writing. Okay. For once. Okay. But the more I listened, the more overwhelmed I got. So the first book was like an outlet. Like, I can't hear this alone. Okay. You need to hear it too. And there were such heavy stories, such powerful stories. Yeah.
So you're a good listener.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's a plus, because you don't want to talk to somebody who's not listening. They're just everywhere. You want somebody who's in your story with you.
Yeah. So yes, it's also the heaviest, the hardest writing I've done.
The men, right?
Yes.
Yes.
To try and just tell the story without demonizing them or glorifying their choices. Yeah. To just tell the story without any judgment. Yeah. Yeah.
So do you change the story a bit?
I change.
Or is as it is, as I tell you?
I call it creative nonfiction. Okay. So I would change the things that would maybe make it obvious. Okay. That it's you, names of places. Yes. Yeah, but the facts of the stories remain. Yeah. Yeah.
So of all the stories in here, which one comes to your mind like every now and then? Because it was maybe too... Is it too wild or too triggering or unbelievable or too sad?
I think A Bag of Anger, where there's this young man and his mother is just angry at him.
I remember that, yeah.
Because he killed his father unintentionally, and because it's such a hard place to be. You know, like, he did nothing wrong, and here he is, and he's stuck. Yeah. Yeah, so that stays with you. That stays with you.
It does. Interesting, because that comes to my mind every now and then. And I remember when I read the book in the morning, I told my husband, darling, you have to read this book. He's not read it yet, but I think probably I told him all the stories in the book. I told him, yeah, you need to read this book. And then I've given my friends the books to read, and they're always like, oh my God, you know. Now, for Confessions of Nairobi Women, Volume 2, which story stands out for you?
I don't know, because Volume 2 was actually the stories I was sort of afraid to tell. Okay. You know, the ones that when I did the women's series, the ones I was afraid, because, you know, once you put it out there, it's out there. Yeah. I don't know. They're all quite heavy. So I don't know if I have a favorite. They're all difficult. Yes. Yes. But for the other book I do.
For the first
one.
Volume 1?
And it's the first story.
Yeah.
It's a first story where...
And if you haven't read this book, you guys should. You should.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about killing my husband. And it's because she's able to admit that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like that's a very intimate thought.
Yeah.
But you would share with someone. Yeah. And also that she didn't have a shot at all from the beginning. No matter what she'd have done, like her life would sort of have ended up where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the common feature in all these books is relationships and love. What do you say about that? Like, what's their impact? What's their role? What role do they play in our lives?
Sometimes we like to think that, we are just ourselves. But I think we are like a sum total of everybody we've met,
Good and bad.
Yeah. So, like, you can't be you without the relationships you have, whether romantic, friendships around you. Yeah, because if you tell your story, you will talk about the people you've met. You're not just you. You don't exist in a bubble by yourself. I think they're a big part of who we are.
And how do they affect, actually, the kids seeing your parents' relationships? How do they affect you as a person as you grow up? How their marriage is, how they're interacting, are they loving, are they abusive? How do you think as an author it affects you as you grow up, and how it affects your relationships and interactions with people?
From my experience and the experiences of the people I've met so far, everybody you meet is either trying to be like their parents or trying to be nothing like their parents. So whether you admit it or not, they form who the people that raise you, they make you, and they inform your decisions, the decisions you make in relationships, whether you want to get married or not, the people you're drawn to.
Yeah, that's interesting, because last week I did a poll on my social media and I was asking people, does your relationship mirror your parents or it's the complete opposite? The majority said no. I'm like, I hope it's a good no.
Oh, yeah.
Because it can be the opposite and then it's really, really bad for you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I always feel like our parents were so rigid in their ways.
Yeah.
But now our generation, we have the opportunity to just turn it a bit, be more vulnerable and change the course of our lives.
Yeah.
Because if you grew up with parents who never held hands, you don't want that with your husband, your wife.
Yeah.
If you grow up with parents who never kissed, you can say, no, and I never saw my parents kissing, so
I can't
understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. Now, Kenyan authors, they're quite a number, but I struggle to read fiction. And maybe I haven't discovered like a very good fiction writer, because I always feel when I read a book, I want to get something out of it. Of course, you can enjoy reading a fiction story, but I always feel like it should add, let me say, value, quote, than reading a story about whatever, you know? What do you say about that? Like, how do you advise me to change my stand a bit?
I think you should keep sampling. They are really, we have really good writers. We have really, really good books, but I think we struggle with placement.
Okay.
Yeah, as Kenyan authors, putting ourselves out there, sometimes even the packaging of the story. So I would encourage you to explore more, because I've encountered quite good books.
Okay.
Yeah. They're there. They may not be looking like what you're looking for at a glance, but they're there. Yeah.
Who does your covers? It's so nice.
Her name is Alice. She was my colleague in media. So she's a graphic designer. Yeah.
Interesting. Now, this was just like town, Nairobi, yeah?
Yes.
Is it the city, yeah?
Yes.
And this is just a girl?
Yeah.
Beautiful girl.
And with the Nairobi silhouette of Nairobi at the bottom.
In the background. And then Nairobi and then ladies.
Yeah.
Interesting. Tell me about your other books.
So
these are the ones I've read.
Yeah.
Tell me about the others, even if just briefly about it.
So I started with things I will tell my daughter. Initially, my books were a spillover. So I was writing for newspaper. Newspaper is very structured. You have a word limit. There are things you can't say. You have an angle to everything. Before you've gone for the interview, there's an angle.
Yeah.
So I was feeling restricted. I was meeting all these people, picking up all these lessons. I think I was 24 when I started. And when I did my first book, I gave it to one of the women I was looking up to, and she asked me, so what makes you think you're ready or even old enough to write a book for women?
Where is she
You're
now?
just 24.
And has she read this?
I don't know. And I thought, okay, maybe I feel like I have a lot, not just from my life.
Yeah.
And when I'm 30 or 40 or 50, then I'll do another book about the things I'll have learned. Like, I don't feel like anybody is too young that they can't teach something. Yeah. But the first book, things I will tell my daughter, was a spillover from my job writing stories for women. Okay. And it was the stories that I had picked up in my early 20s that I wish I had learned in my teenage years, or even, just a few years. Like, if I knew this, then I wouldn't have made this decision or that decision. So it was lessons.
For example?
Like the relationship with your body, the way we are told you need to love your body, and you don't. Such things. We have all this body positivity movement that makes it seem like if you're not comfortable all the time in the body that you're in, or in you don't want to wear your natural hair, something is wrong with you.
Okay.
And then I learned that healthy relationships are not like that. Even the relationship you have with your family, sometimes you don't like them very much. And that's okay.
Yeah.
If you want to change something, it's okay.
It's okay to change. Eh?
Yeah. Yeah. So things like that.
Okay.
Or about the workplace and femininity. Because we grew up at a time when we were women in the workplace. You would be the first one to stand up to serve tea at a meeting because you're the only woman, or to bring cake and mandazi for your colleagues. And that doesn't help your career
at all.
It doesn't. Yeah. So things like that. And we didn't, and you find yourself doing them because it's expected of you. But then people like you, but when there's a promotion, they don't think about you.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just little things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the second book is I'm Too Pretty to Be Broke, and Other Lies You've Been Telling Yourself. This was inspired by a conversation I overheard of a young girl and an older man. I think he's her uncle. And she was, I think, sitting for KCSE, and she was saying, the uncle was like, if you get an A, I'll get you a phone. And she said she doesn't need to get an A because she's pretty.
Okay.
And I was like, oh God, you have no idea what's coming, like
there's so many pretty people out here.
And that can get you only so far.
Yeah.
So that's just one of the lessons. There are so many lies that we tell ourselves, that especially the younger women. My first books, I was writing for women, maybe under 25, that if you're in a relationship, it doesn't matter who he's with, as long as he comes home to you, or you don't need to have a lot to achieve so much. You only need to achieve just enough so that you can be married, so you don't scare people off. Yeah. Lessons like that, lies that we were told or that we learned from the women that came before us.
Yeah. I saw a story the other day, I don't know whether it was true or not, about a lady who had called off her engagement because she just got this really nice job that would pay her way more than her husband, her fiance now. The husband told her, you can't take the job because, you're not going to respect because you respect because now you're earning more. So either you don't take the promotion, the job, or the wedding is off. So now she had to call off the wedding.
Wow.
That's just madness.
Wow.
In today's world even. Yeah, so I relate with what you're saying. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah. But I think now times have changed.
Yeah.
Men are not too threatened by women who, even if...
You'll be surprised.
Yeah.
A lot of times, a lot of men want to say that.
But deep down...
But when it comes down to it, like relationships where there's that power balance, a lot of times is struggle.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think we are getting there.
Yeah.
Maybe we are the last generation to experience this, and the next one will be better.
I always feel like money is overrated. Because at the end of the day, the man's role is to lead. So a man can lead even without the money.
Yeah.
You know? And women, we have no issues with submitting.
Yes.
You know? So I can earn 500K and you're earning 50K and we're okay.
Yeah.
Because you're taking lead, like, you know, it doesn't matter who is bringing the
exactly.
bread
and
home.
That's how it should be. But I find in those situations, the men struggle to rise up to the occasion. When in those situations, they, you know, the things, your inner voice, the things you think others are thinking of you, but they're not thinking that.
Yeah.
You know, the things they tell themselves things like, she doesn't respect me, but she didn't say that, or she didn't do anything.
Yeah, those are your own conclusions.
Yeah, you're assuming because insecurities. Insecurities. Then it ends up being problematic.
True.
Yeah.
I saw these people who go doing random interviews. Then this is an old mzungu. He was at the airport waiting to board, and then this person came to interview, and then he asked him, so how do you afford to travel first class? And the guy said, I just travel because my wife is very rich.
You know?
You know, she pays for the first class tickets. I travel and I go do my art. He does art. I'm like, yeah. And like, that is so good to hear. Like, you're comfortable with that.
I wish.
You're not feeling any sort of inferior, you know,
pressure from, Also, I think also society. Sometimes you'll find we are a couple, we got together, we knew we had a disparity.
Yes.
But now once you let people in on the relationship, then people put things in your head like, she can't respect you, you know? But you don't know that. Like they don't know. Yeah, but because of their own perceptions, their own insecurities, then they think.
Yeah, I hope it gets better with time.
Yeah.
Book number 3.
Book number 3 is Letters to My Son. So that was due to demand.
Okay.
But like, why are you writing only for women?
Yes.
So that was hard because it's really tough writing something you've not experienced.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was just motherhood lessons.
Do you have kids?
Yes, I have 3. I have two boys and a daughter. But at the time they were 2. So it's motherhood lessons to manhood lessons from a mother's perspective to a young man. My youngest readers are 14, 15.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's the same way, the same things that, you know, figuring your way around the kitchen can save you a lot. Not just money, but also getting in the wrong relationships because you don't know how to cook or to clean. So then you're letting women into your life to do things like that, or that also men are deserving of respect, you know, because we have a lot of abuse of boys and men. It's not just Me Too is not just a woman's movement.
Yeah.
You know? You can say no and your no is valid.
True.
Even if you're a boy. Yeah, so lessons like that.
Women, girls rather, they have so much, like the concentration on them is so much that we forget about boys.
Yes.
So my foundation, it has been dealing with girls, but now I have a boy, a son who's 2 years. So I'm trying to switch a bit and, you know, do more with boys. Because I feel like girls have a lot already.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But,
when you say that, I had there's a library we are starting in Embu, and when I visited about a month ago, the headmistress, it's a primary school, was telling us, okay, everybody comes here with pads and underwear for the girls, and nothing for the boys.
For the boys,
nothing. You know, they also need underwear. You know, they need their vests.
Yes.
Yeah, and nobody remembers. So the boys sit there and watch, and they're wondering, and they've come from the same homes.
Yeah.
If it's
so I think we teach them to just, you survive, you're a man, figure it out. It's terrible. Book number 4. I don't know which number is number 4
book
here.
Number 4 is Jam Girl, Stop That. So that's an angry book.
Okay.
It's about the times women get in their own way, you know, the things we do to sabotage ourselves, like making decisions off of social media, you're following celebrities and making decisions in your life, and you have no idea that this is showbiz, or thinking that drinking so much or being able to hold your alcohol is an achievement, things like that. Or thinking that our mothers and grandmothers were doormats, because we have that mentality. We are not like that. We are better, but we are really not. It's just that we have more options
and more knowledge.
They just did the best with what they have. With what they had, honestly. So it's a compilation of the times women get in their own way.
I think I'll get that. Yeah, sounds interesting.
Yes.
The book number 5.
Book number 5 is Guilty. It's a novel.
I read that.
Yes.
Yeah, I read that. Yeah.
Guilty. Guilty was the first book I ever wrote. Way before I published my first book, but then I just had a byline in the newspaper. So I tried publishing. So they ask you, so who are you? Who? Oh, okay. So I just put it somewhere, and then there was a competition in Lagos, the Kuramu Writing Prize. So I entered it, and I got a publishing deal off of that. Yeah, so it's just a love story. The twist, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it shows how our parents' relationships and affect us as we grow older, and the kind of men we are looking for.
Yes.
And everything else that you're doing with our lives.
Yes.
Yeah.
Book number 6 is Everything I Know About Life. It was, I think, my coming of age story. A book. And it's like important life lessons. Like the most basic one is that life goes on.
True.
It doesn't matter what you're going through.
Yeah.
It goes on, and it owes you nothing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got the cards you got. Like, you can't be in your 30s crying that you were born by here, or you were raised by this sort of people.
Yeah, just move on.
You move on.
Yeah, like adapt already.
Exactly. So life is like that. Or the expectations we have of our friends. We, especially in adulthood, we expect so much of our friends, but they're also dealing with life. Life is hard.
Yeah.
Everybody is struggling. Yeah. So maybe cut them some slack.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you're in a friendship or any kind of relationship, there should be some level of expectation.
Yes, but
because you can exist, yes, but what's the aim of your friendship?
It's support, but I always feel like, because all these stories always on social media. When I was struggling, my friends didn't show up, but a lot of times maybe they couldn't.
Okay.
Yeah, we never stopped to think that maybe they couldn't. Also, like, life is hard. Yeah.
That makes me think quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because I feel people go through different seasons. Like, you're in this season and I'm in this season.
Yeah.
So whatever season you're in, I can always show up for you, even if not 100%. At least I'm there. So when you say I was going through ABCD and this person didn't show up for me, I don't know. I don't understand it, because if you're going through something and I'm your friend, tell me, I know you're going through this, but I'm not able to show up. So when you say they didn't show up, it means they were not there.
Yeah, or they didn't, like, you had a party, they didn't contribute.
Okay, that's okay.
And you don't know.
Yeah.
We always have these assumptions that they are supposed to show up 100% of the time, and they can't. Like, it's just life. Yeah. So maybe also try and find out.
Yeah. What's
going on. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Then there is the how we say men lie. And men are not that good of liars. Like, from my experience,
they're terrible liars.
A man will always say what he means.
Okay.
But women don't listen.
Okay.
You hear what you want to hear.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll meet a man, he'll tell you he's not ready to be a father. Then you'll get pregnant.
Hoping to change
him. And then
him.
You'll call him a deadbeat when he refuses to become a father.
Yeah.
But he told you.
Okay, you just chose not to
You don't listen.
You heard, but you chose not to understand or believe him.
Yes. You think, I know what I'll do.
Once he sees the baby, he's going to change his mind.
Yeah. So that's a collection of life lessons like that I learned in my early 30s.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. That's interesting. Then probably I'll read that as well. Lying for me it just makes my blood boil. Because I always feel you're lying to me, unanibebaje.
Yeah, like you think I'm stupid.
Like you don't have any respect for me. Just tell me, even if the truth is going to harm me, just tell me. But you can't lie to me. If I know somebody's lying, I'm so bothered. Too much. So for me, lying in a relationship, in interaction, it's a big no for me. I can't. If I know what you're lying as a friend,
no.
We cannot. You cannot be in my life anymore. I don't want to understand why you lied. Because everything is a choice. You know you are lying. So for me, lying is big no. Big no.
And then you wonder what somebody will lie about
exactly,
next.
Exactly. And I always believe once you lie about something, you can lie again.
Yes.
And again. So the lies will never stop.
Yes.
Yes. So it becomes a cycle, which is so terrible. Book number 7.
Yes. So book number 7 are the confessions.
Okay.
7, 8, and 9, and hopefully 10 in about a month.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
How is that going?
Good. We actually we have editing, proofreading stage. Yeah. We're doing the back and forth with the editor. Then we'll go into print in about 2 weeks. Yeah. So it's just book 2 of the Confessions of Nairobi Men.
Yeah. I can't wait to read it. When you talk about editing, you see so many things, books, articles that are written, and they're written so poorly. So does that, even just notebooks, just probably you're talking to somebody on phone or whatever, people write so poorly. So does this go back to how we are taught to write in school? Now, I have a big problem understanding. So I'm in my late 30s. So if I'm engaging with somebody who is younger than me, and you can't write properly, you can't speak properly, I wonder what went wrong. Because school became free in the 2000s, like there's no reason for you not to be able to just express yourself properly, like proper grammar. I'm the kind of person who, if I read something and it's not properly written, I'm so bothered. I'm so bothered, So some of my friends, I actually tell them that I think this is wrong. And they're used to me telling them, correct, like it's forced in a nice, friendly way. So when I find something that's not well written, I can't read. I can't read it, But then again, as I was saying, somebody who is younger than me, I'm using that example, who can't write or read properly, I wonder. So would you know where the disconnect is?
It's a cultural thing. I think we don't pass on the importance of actually being able to communicate clearly. Like there hasn't been enough emphasis because education is free, like you said. Okay, it's not totally free, but it's accessible now compared to 2-3 decades ago. But people are not trying to communicate clearly. I don't know why that's not a priority for a lot of people.
Okay.
I think we can do better because we are reading now. When I started writing, we'd be told, Kenyans don't read. Kenyans read.
Yeah, I was going to come to that.
But when they come to communicate, there's a disconnect. I don't know.
I think communication is so broad. I'm also not a very good communicator. And I've been trying to, when I can, I'm going for these Toastmasters lessons, like sessions. So it's not just, you can wake up and you can, of course, probably it's a talent, it's inborn, but I think you need to build it and invest in it and practice, but just the aspect of writing, like somebody texts you and you're like, what are you saying? I mean, so I'm thinking in my mind, this is what you're thinking as you write. Hey, first of all, we can be friends. And first of all, I won't even respond to you.
Yeah.
Because why? You understand?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Does it go back to school where you just do your exams, answer the questions properly, and then end up with maisha yako?
Yeah, I think so. But also a lot of education, it begins in the home.
Yeah.
Even how your kids write to you. do you correct them? So if they write that and you're okay, then they move with that to the adult world. Yeah, so I think it starts in the beginning, from when they're small. You instill in them the importance of being clear and using good grammar, and
it's so important.
Yes,
so important. Yeah,
because also for me, first impressions, like, I'm put off. And sometimes maybe something could have come out of a conversation, but I'm put off. We have a lot of people who don't even introduce themselves.
Yeah.
Somebody will send you a WhatsApp message and just not in proper English and just say what they want. I don't know who you are,
Yeah.
Even courtesy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of that.
A lot, huh?
Yeah.
Do we blame the teachers or the parents? Or just the lack of initiative to want to be better?
I think parents, because we tend to push a lot of stuff to the teachers,
to the school.
Yeah, but it begins at home. Yeah, begins at home. I think that's something. Then, if your child learns early that it's important to communicate well, to learn good English, then they'll be interested when they go to school.
Yeah. My son is 2, so now he's speaking. And he's speaking so clearly. I'm so impressed. And I'm trying to, of course, I wouldn't remember, but when I was 2 years, sijui nilikuwa wapi.
Yeah.
I'm sure I didn't have such, my vocab wasn't as wide.
Yeah.
Now, you said Kenyans read. Do we really?
Yes.
Yes. I know there are guys who do libraries in schools. Do people actually go to library to read?
Maybe not, or maybe outside.
Yeah.
But individually, like, there's a whole reading community. I was also surprised when I came in. I had a lot of people, especially when I was doing my first book, that was 9 years ago, telling me, Kenyans don't read. But I already had this book that I've spent 6 months writing, so I'm going to publish it either way.
Yeah.
But then when it came to out to the market, and I found out that Kenyans read, actually.
What age bracket are we talking about? 20-30s,
20 to 45.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe there's a lot of people actually discover their love for reading older. There's that.
I mean, that bracket. Because growing up, I didn't grow up with books.
Yes.
But now I'm an avid reader. I'm always reading 3 books at a time. So when I'm done, I'm like, I have so many books I've read, Yeah.
Yeah, because we also grew up like that. We went outside to play. Nobody really encouraged us to read. But then you grow up and you discover reading, and it's
this beautiful word.
So we have a lot of that and a lot of reading communities. I don't know why that's not publicized enough, because I would say in the last year, between now and last year, December, I think I've gone to like maybe 30 book clubs.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a book club of 20, 30 people, and that's just in Nairobi.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a lot of people.
It is, but they do fiction, right? Majority of them do fiction.
Yes. Yeah, the book clubs love fiction. Yeah.
So I struggle with that. I try to join a few. They're like, I don't know how to discuss a fiction
I'm also
book.
the kind that reads alone. I also don't know how to discuss, because I went because of the confession series. So but there's also a lot of people with home libraries. Like when you talk to the booksellers, people read. People read. Yeah, the people saying that are the people that don't read.
Interesting. Yeah. Now, you said you had this childhood dream to have a bookshop with your books. How is that coming along?
Initially, when I started the bookshop, it was just my books. It's called Stories. It was online initially, and it was just my books. Then I would have readers, especially outside Nairobi. Oh, can you also recommend a book? Or can you find for me this book? And I was selling half the time my books, half the time other books. And I thought, okay, So this year we opened a bookshop in the CBD.
Okay, it has come to be.
So half of the books are mine, then
Very
the other
nice.
half is,
where in CBD?
On Moi Avenue.
Moi Avenue.
Yeah. Mitho, Biashara Plaza.
Yeah. Interesting. Do you find that the costs of books is affordable? Now, I love reading, as I said, and I never, when I'm getting a book, and of course I know what I'm going to get when I go to the bookshop. I never look at the price. I'm reading this. This is what I'm getting. I just buy it, whatever price it is. Unless probably it's like 10K, which I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But I never have to check the price. Are the books we have in Kenya affordable? Or probably the ones in bookshops, are they affordable?
To the average person, no. Honestly, I think that's also a gap that we have to get parents to have their children to read. Because even the little books are like 600 and for like 10-page book. Yeah. So I would say no. I think there's the government would help with like taxes and stuff like that. Yeah. The Kenyan books are fairly priced, I would say, but some of the international books, I've had a lot of people actually wait for the book to be 4 or 5 years old so that the price can come down. Yeah. I really want to read that, but it's 3,000. I don't have 3,000. Yeah. So I'll wait until it's 1,500. Okay. Yeah. So we have a problem with price. Books are expensive. Paper is expensive. Printing is expensive. Yeah. Yeah.
If you were to, you told me you publish as well.
Yeah.
What's the process like of publishing?
So I have a publishing house, but just so far I'm the only client.
Okay.
Because publishing it's capital intensive. Yeah. And to sink $1 million in someone's book, then I would have to, and I'm already doing this full time. So publishing is essentially putting together a team, which is to be a person to do the legals, an accountant, but the important people, the editor, proofreader, a graphic designer, and then a printer. It's the hardest part. Yeah. And now the distribution channel, somebody to create the distribution channels. Yeah.
Going back to these books, are you friends with some of the people you not the people you knew, people you randomly interviewed? Do you do quote follow-ups on how they are doing?
Yes.
Okay. That's
all
good.
Of them. It's really hard to move on when someone has dumped something like that on you. So you really can't. So I've kept in touch with everyone.
Okay. That's good to know. Because that's like the answer I was looking for.
Yeah, because it's tough to walk away and the stories keep you up at night. So you want to know, how are you? Are you okay?
Yeah. Now, when you're not publishing, when you're not being an author, when you're not having these people talk to you about their personal lives, what do? I always believe, and I was saying just the other day that one of my life purpose I have now come to discover is to bring out the fun side of people. Because we are so caught up with work, and work is good because you have to make money, families. I mean, you have to.
Yeah.
But if we woke up tomorrow and there was no work, what would you do?
What would you do?
Yeah, like who are you outside work? So my goal is to have people explore that. Like ask yourself, there's no work tomorrow. What do I do with life?
I know. Yeah.
So when you're not being an author, publishing, journalist, what do you do? For yourself, for fun?
I don't know. That's an interesting question because I'm a bit of a homebody. So I'll probably read or watch a movie. Yeah, I'm more indoors.
That's okay.
Than outdoors. Yeah. I like to spend time with myself. That's how I recharge. I enjoy my company. Yeah. So I never really, but I also take care of people. I think, I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's how I find joy.
Okay.
Yeah. In taking care of other people.
Taking care, you mean?
Showing up.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're like being there. If you need anything, I'm here. Okay.
Yes.
So that recharges you, right?
Yes. So taking care of my family, friends, or spending time with myself. Yeah.
How old are your kids?
I have a 16-year-old.
You do?
I do. A 14-year-old and a 6-year-old.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have they read some of the books?
Some. The confessions. The others, yes.
Yeah.
The confessions, I allow them to read once they're after primary. But they read them. I didn't want them to read, but they were in school with the teachers. And so they've read them. Yeah. They are not, the way when you're doing something and you hope, I want my kids to be, writers and all that. So I tried pushing.
I was going to ask that.
No one is really interested in writing, but they read.
Yeah.
They read, yeah. Yeah. No one.
Yeah. But did you get your writing, the curiosity from your parents, somebody in your family?
No, because my father refused to buy a TV.
Okay.
For the longest time.
Okay.
He refused. And we grew up on a farm in Embu, like 17 acres. So you're there in the wilderness alone. But we had books. Okay. So I remember the first book I read was, I think it was Inappropriate. I think it was After 4:30 by David Milo, if I'm not wrong. And I shouldn't have been reading that because I was, I think, 8. But it was so fascinating because he could, for the first time, I was reading something and I could see it. Like, he was so good that I could see these people he was writing about. And I wanted to do that with my life. I wanted to be able to make people feel like that, feel the rain instead of telling them it's raining. Yeah. So for me, it was the lack of anything else to do. That's how I discovered books and the way they made me feel. They kept me company and I wanted to do that for other people. Yeah.
For sure you have managed to do that for us. Do you have an author, I don't want to say admire, like whose work you enjoy? Maybe an author or authors?
Maybe I would tell you my favorite book.
Okay.
It's A Secret Lives of Babasegi. Yeah, who is the author? That's my favorite book of all time. But I wouldn't say I have one author. I'm those people who read anything.
Okay.
Yeah. And I particularly enjoy the secondhand books. I'll go on the street and I'll find, and you'll find some of the most interesting books, just forgotten. So I wouldn't say there's one person. Yeah. I enjoy African authors though. Yeah, I read a lot of that. Since 2019, my goal was to read all African the whole year.
Okay.
And I think the only book that wasn't African that year was Michelle's book, Michelle Obama. I read all African for 12 months and it changed me. Yeah, now I crave it. I crave more. Yeah.
Interesting. I think she's called Chimamanda. I've read some of her books. They're okay.
Yeah, she's a
good writer.
Good, yes.
She's a good writer. She can communicate very well.
Yeah.
She speaks very well.
Yes.
What was I going to ask? Hata nimesahau. Something about the Africa. I enjoy, it will come back to me. I enjoy this author. He's called Paul Coelho or something.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
I'm deep in his books. Whatever he's explaining, he's walking on the streets, he's in the desert. I am with him. Yeah. So when I read your book, it was so, I could relate with, it was so easy to connect with what was in the book. So this question is disappearing from my mind. Yeah. Have you read a book? Have you read books and you feel you should not have written this book in the first place because you should not have written this book because it's just a horrible book?
Yes.
Have you had such books?
Yes. That has happened. And I feel like we're in a rush.
Okay.
We're in a rush to get our art out there or whatever, and we don't give it time.
Because probably there's no art to begin with.
Yeah. And there have been some that I've read and yeah.
So have you been asked to review a book and then you refuse to because you don't be associated with that?
What I offer to do is read it I'll not endorse, but I can read it and give you feedback.
Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of times when you tell someone to rewrite, they don't like that. And I get it, because when I started writing, I was so, it's perfect. I can't change it. But the more you grow, by the time a book is done, you've rewritten like 5 times. So you get it, But there's a lot of, when you tell them that maybe they need to rewrite the whole book and maybe take a different approach.
Yeah, I would say no as well.
They don't get back. That's the last you hear. You hear from them, because there are some, maybe there's something, maybe if you did this, or if you used like real life examples or people, then maybe we could connect more. Yeah, because there's a lot of how to, like, especially people who do nonfiction motivational literature, they want to do a lot of how to, and people don't want to be talked at. You tell me stories, then maybe I can learn. But now you want to, so we struggle, I think, with that.
Yeah, interesting. Where do you get your inspiration from? Just overall to write different books, different stories, and do you have the support around you to give you that space to do that?
Like my family is they ride for me. I have 6 brothers, and my husband.
You're the only girl.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm the last, but I think my parents were looking for a girl.
Yeah, they got lucky.
So they really, really support me. Okay. They've been, especially when I started out, they would come out of town to come to a book signing because they don't know if anybody else will show up.
Yeah.
They'll come. We are coming, and there'll be people in the audience. And they've done that for me through the years. Yeah. And and my spouse, I always say, as a career woman, like, your partner is one of your biggest career decisions.
True, life decisions.
Yes, life decisions. Like, they make or break your career. And he's been so supportive. So supportive. Like, sometimes even seeing, those moments when you're not believing in yourself, and he's
your biggest cheerleader.
He's like, you got this. You already did this. So.
Yeah. So if you were not writing books, what would you be doing?
I think initially I would have been a lawyer, but I think I would be a psychologist.
Okay.
Psychiatrist. The human mind fascinates me.
Me and you both.
I would want to study it. It's fascinating. Yeah. I think that's what I would be doing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
How people think and how they react to different situations. And
but you can still do it on the side. Just start probably with a course or read books.
Yeah, probably.
To gain more knowledge.
Yeah, probably. That's actually on my list of things to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think you write until you can't write anymore? You're using glasses at the end of the world, or you get to a place where I've written enough. So many. I have 100 books out, 200 books out, and then now it's the end.
I want to write until I can't write anymore. Yeah, because I feel like if I stop, then I'm being selfish.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. As long as I can do it, I'll do it. I can't stop.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll write different things. Usually my writing takes me where it wants me to go. You'll find, something else to do. But I think I'll keep doing it until maybe I'm 80.
Even 90.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw this interview with Larry. He was interviewing some author in Nigeria. He's 90.
Oh my God.
He still can write. He's teaching. He's walking upright.
Yeah, because I saw Kiriamiti just released a book, and he's, I think, in his 70s.
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but yeah. Are you done with your thoughts?
Yes.
Yeah. What is the effect of books for our minds, especially for kids as they grow up?
They open up your world. The way they say, it's like traveling,
Yeah.
So the more they read, the more widely they read, the more their minds travel. They stop seeing the world with only one window.
So you grew up with one window. Never had books. You get to explore books way later.
Yeah, we did. We only had like 2 programs on KBC that we would watch, and one cartoon, and
Yeah.
Yeah. So imagine if you'd discovered books at 5 years old.
Like they take you to such different worlds.
Yeah. So I think it opens your mind up to the world.
Yeah. And I've seen so many, probably even on TV, the kids' shows are usually Western based.
Yes.
You don't have many that are African focused.
Yeah.
But the books I buy for my child are African. They have black heads. And even shows I try to have him watch black shows that you get to know there's white and not like racist or anything, but there's white and then there's these people who look like me and they're excelling in this particular thing. So probably we need to have more writers, kids writers specifically, that are Black.
Yes. Yeah. It's actually interesting because you never realize the effect, even seeing like when the Black Mermaid came and
it was a big deal.
Children were fascinated, like she looks like me, like, you know. So there's an effect on I think it's our goal, this generation that's in the corporate world, that's writing books, to show the Gen Alpha that there are people out here that look like them, that tell our stories, that achieve big things. Yeah.
Happiness comes and goes. But would you describe yourself as happy? Are you happy?
Yes.
And what's happiness to you?
Happiness for me is when the people I love are content.
Okay.
You know, when everybody's in a good place, I think I draw happiness from without. I don't know if that's a good thing. Yeah.
But that makes you happy. So,
yes,
you know,
that makes me happy.
Yeah, it fills up your cup.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Now, the world is ending in the next, not soon before you release your book, but the world is ending in the next 60 seconds. How do you check out? Like, how has life been? How do you check out of this beautiful universe?
I don't know. I think I would be ready to go.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's been, the way I look at it, you do the best with what you have, and I have done that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would be ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think many people can say that?
No. No, because I think it comes with age, or is it experience that I do my best every day.
Yeah.
And that should be enough. You know, for a lot of us, we do that, but it's still not enough. You know, you're thinking, oh, but I didn't get to do this, or I haven't achieved this much. For me, what's most important is intention. You know, I went out with the best intention I could today, and I did the best I could.
You do think people wouldn't say they're okay checking out because as you evolve, you're trying different things, but for you it's different because you know what you want and you're living that dream?
Yes, I think also, I've gotten to, because, you know, I tell people I'm living my dream. Yes. I'm doing the job I dreamt of doing at 5 years old. You know, when I started media, I didn't think I could be a full-time writer. And a lot of people told me, no, there's no money in books. You can't be a full-time author.
Yeah.
So I meet a lot of people who are like, you're so lucky. Because, there's a lot of people stuck in jobs that they need to do, not because they want to do. Yeah, so there's that. I'm lucky that I've found this, that I love it, that it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah, I think that's the goal. Because every time Monday comes, people say, Monday blues, I don't want to go to the office. Always looking forward to Friday. Yeah. And I'm always the notion of every day should be good.
Yeah, you know? I love Mondays.
Me too.
Yeah.
But my favorite day is Thursday. And no particular reason, but Monday, Friday, I'm just, every day is good for me.
Yeah.
But I think because most people are not doing the jobs they love. They're not following probably their passions, because their passions probably wouldn't put food on the table. So they're just miserable in their jobs, you know. So I pray everybody is able to find and explore and
even find the passion. Because there's finding it, and then there's being able to go after it. Because there's a lot of people who still don't know what they want to do.
Yeah, and I was having a conversation with somebody, and I was telling them maybe some people don't have talent. And they told me, Apana, everybody has a talent.
But finding it is...
Yeah, but how do you find it though?
I don't know, because maybe it's...
Because you're so busy with life.
Yeah.
How do you how do you pull it out? How do you find that
how
talent?
do you know that you would... Because you have to try something and then know that you're good at it. Because for me, it was a writing competition. I always enjoyed writing, but I didn't know I was good at it until high school. And we did I think it was a Commonwealth essay competition around the world, and I won. I was like, oh,
there's something here.
It gives you confidence. So I'm actually good at this thing. So I think for a lot of people, it's opportunity to try different things, and also lack of support. Because, we grew up with parents who didn't know. I didn't know writing can be a career, in fact. I remember one of my brothers used to play the guitar, and my dad would ask him,
and then,
which guitar player have you seen?
Yeah.
Like
to what end?
Like having good money. But now, the world has changed.
Yeah, bit by bit. Huh?
Yeah.
But I still feel you're so focused on academia.
Yes.
So if you don't have somebody bring out that talent in you, and probably you force yourself, you say, apana, I have to do this. Because when you watch something like America Got Talent or Britain Got Talent, kids who are 3, 4, they are doing so good.
And they know.
Yeah. So back here,
because even I feel like books are also a talent. Not everybody, because it's retaining information.
Yes.
Actually, not everybody can retain. And maybe these people are really good at something else. I was hoping the CBC system would fix that. I don't know yet, because I haven't, my son is just in grade 1. So I haven't really interacted with it. But I hope then they're able to know early what they're good at, other than math.
I was talking with the same about with somebody else, and the complaint we have from parents is it's too involving, because you have to be there to do the homework with them.
Yes.
So I think that is going to help, as you say, to bring out what the child is good in, except besides Schule exams, maths, and all that.
Yes.
Yeah,
because they have, it's quite broad, because I think it's like 11 subjects.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I think they get to...
Yeah.
But no, but it's still the same subjects that were split, because I was thinking they would have like art and, stuff like that for the... And actual music, other than the music we learned in primary.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't, from what I've seen, it's not really talent-based.
Okay.
It's still...
The usual one we went.
Yeah, it's still the same. Just the subjects were split into smaller subjects, smaller, later subjects. Yeah, I haven't, but it's interactive though. So at least everybody spends time with their children by force.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah, so that's a good thing. Yeah.
Now, what's the name of the book you're about to release, publish?
It's Confessions of Nairobi Men, Book 2.
Yeah. So we are looking forward to that book. I cannot wait to read it. It has been great to have you on the show, and I'm sure we'll have another conversation very soon.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great.